Hello, I was talking about this video for quite a long time and now it's finally time for me to fulfill this promise. And today I will talk about two upgrade cables from the Meze audio that I have. And let's start with one for their in-ear monitors. It fits both Advar and Penta. I haven't tested Penta and I don't have it to do tests, unfortunately, but in general it's MMCX to balanced 4.4mm silver-plated cable. So really self-explanatory. And if I understand right, actually you now getting this cable as free bonus if you buying either of Meze high-end in-ear monitors, because both on Penta promo page and Advar promo page they writing about the upgrade cable, balanced upgrade cable, and you can select 2.5mm or Pentacon. Separately, this cable sold from Meze website for $150, and actually I think it's pretty well, it's not affordable, but at the same time it's not super expensive for this cable because it's really good in terms of quality and in terms of acoustical properties. So in this video I also want to share some of my thoughts about cables in general, but mostly it will be for the upgraded cable for the 109 and the Meze Lirik. So let's do unboxing. So simple black cardboard, nice leather pouch inside. Actually it's even can be used to store earphones inside of it too. Both cables looks stock one and upgrade one looks similar, and I suspect here used the same wires. I'm not 100% sure, but more on this a bit later. So let me untangle both. They are super soft, so sometimes they can tangle noticeably, but usually it won't be an issue in regular usage, just not wind them too tightly into really small circle. I just want to compare them side by side. So similar transparent MMCX connectors of really good quality with nice well-defined clicks. Similar ear hooks without memory wire, of course, no one do memory wire nowadays. Soft, comfortable, and helps to fight with microphonic effect. And they are super soft, not getting hard when it's cold outside, really comfortable in wearing. Not sure about durability, we have to wait like few years to make some conclusions here. But most probably it's TPU, so it will be pretty durable. Totally similar splitters with company logo. I always like when company's branding is present on the accessories. It usually gives you an impression of something done properly. And similar braiding after the splitter that leads us to connectors, also similar in design, but one is 3.5mm, other one is Pentacon. Both are pretty accurate and nicely built, so all that furniture on the cables are also of really good quality and so on. So I used FIOS M17 to compare these cables. Also I used Hybe R3. It's R3, yes, recent version, and also I used the Shanling M3U. So I mean M3 Ultra to compare these cables. And you know, to my ears actually difference is just because of different outputs on the player. So there are few like mistaking approaches to the cables. I'm getting sometimes question, is it worth to upgrade earphones to balanced cable? And the answer here, earphones doesn't care about that. They doesn't care about what connected to them and how it's powered. What makes the difference here is the output of your source. Either it's a portable digital tonal converter, some stationary DAC with amplifier, some player, and so on. So only difference is that with this connector you usually getting more power, and sometimes hypothetically you're getting more channel separation, but you know, like nowadays channel separation is somewhere beyond our ears limit anyway. So if you're getting 80 decibels of channel separation and 110, both are like far beyond our ears possibilities. But in some cases, for example, when we're speaking about the tough hard to drive earphones, we getting much more benefit from the balanced connection because they're getting more power and better control. So in these cases, of course, balanced makes perfect sense. And also in some rare cases, devices have just a bit different representation for the different outputs. For example, with Hybe R3, balanced one is offers slightly better dynamics. You know, when you compare two outputs, it's also really important to match the volume, because balanced has more power and it sounds louder, and usually we hear louder music as better one because we hear more details and so on. But of course, keep your ears safe and don't try to crank it too high. But I matched volume with volume meter for the Hybe R6 third version, and balanced output offers a bit better dynamics, and because of that a bit more forward emotions. But difference is not big, because in blind A/B tests I heard difference like I don't know, 7 times out of 10. So it's distinguishable, but not really huge difference. And in this case, of course, this cable changes dynamics, and which is also really good for these earphones, but of course always can do better. Not always, but in many cases, of course. But then I became really curious, like if we put them in the similar conditions. So I took DD Hi-Fi adapter from the Pentacon to the 3.5 millimeter, did a bunch of A/B tests using single-ended output only, because of course you can turn balanced out to single-ended, but never use adapters for the single-ended jack to plug it to balanced output. It's dangerous for many devices. So I compared them with single-ended output, and in 4 cases out of 10 I heard a bit better treble extension with these two cables, but it's like, you know, below that limit that I consider as audible. Anyway, if you're looking for a good silver-plated cable, Meze one is a really good option. Or if you already have like just 3.5 millimeter cable and you want a balanced for the Meze Advar, it will be the best option here. But if you like to purchase it somewhere now, because it's really great earphones, you're getting this balanced cable with them. But anyway, as a separate purchase, actually, if these earphones doesn't need too much power, so actually you can use them with single-ended only. But if you have some device that offers a bit different signature for the balanced and single-ended, so you also can consider it. And now let's talk about the cable that makes more difference in sound, and actually it's one of the most differentiating or cable, or probably it's more correct to say the cable that makes more difference among all cables that I've tested ever. It's premium cable, mono 3.5 millimeter, so it's here is written that it's compatible with Lirik, but actually it fits perfectly to the 109 Pro, and actually with these earphones I got the biggest effect. So it's Meze have a really wide range of cables available for the Lirik and high-end models like Empyrean and Elite with a bit different prices. They have different lengths, so 1.3 meter costs $250 and $270 if you want version with dual mini XLR connectors for their more high-end models, and about $350 for the 2.5 meter cable. So price is also not really cheap, but at the same time definitely far from prices that many cable manufacturers ask. So probably it can be called like a fair price or almost fair, but of course everyone wants that for cheap, but in this case actually result is pretty impressive. And why I'm saying so, because you know I tested a lot of cables with a lot of headphones, and I did a lot of blind tests, really blind tests with helper. My wife actually hates me for that, because she is always an assistant in this test. And you know, in any case, cables doesn't make night and day difference. Never I faced that. Usually it's like really way to squeeze a bit more from your headphones or earphones, and especially never cable can make headphones or earphones that sound bad make them good. Actually, there can be only one exception, when some headphones or earphones have really bad stock cable. It sometimes happened with some Chinese models. In these cases, of course, changing the cable can make drastic difference. But for more high-end models, usually it's not the case, because all manufacturers want to make stock cable also really good, so and give you the good experience with their models. But actually for Lirik, for example, this cable also makes more sense, because stock cables of Lirik, they are not bad in terms of sound, but I don't like usability of that cables with fabric insulation. And actually probably Meze thought the same way, because now they offering also free upgrade cable with Lirik purchase, and it's really good way of sweetening the deal. So this cable costs $250, and price slightly depends on the length. And it's Furukawa pure copper ultra high drawability wire. I actually not sure what high drawability names, but anyway, not really much to care about that. And in the box you're getting bigger storage pouch, but in this case of course headphones won't fit into this pouch, but you can store here, for example, player. Cable is pretty heavy, of course not like some creations for the true audiophiles, but it's on the heavy side, and it's understandable because it's really solidly braided, solidly built cable. So here we're getting two single-ended 3.5mm connectors fitting to many Meze models. Then it comes braided. It's not super soft, I'd say that it's average in terms of softness, but for the full-size headphones it's okay level of softness. Just take a look how good it looks braided. Really nice. You can see braiding inside of each insulation. It's TPE insulation, but for the full-size headphones it's enough softness to not have a microphonic effect, because usually with that cables with some fabric coating they gives microphonic effect noticeable. Then goes pretty big chin slider, but in this case it's for good, because it's weighty and pull cables down to help them stay in place. It's always underestimated thing in many designs. And here we're getting typical braiding, but it's still really admirable, really even, so just pleasant to look and to touch. And actually pretty big pentacon here, but also for full-size headphones, for some desktop setup, it's a really good option. So in terms of ergonomics, outlook and stuff, cables look great. And another thing I wanted to pronounce, to speak aloud, maybe someone will won't agree with me, but you know, I am not agree with that typical opinions like copper adds bass, for example, or like silver adds treble. You know, for me it sounds more like transferring what you see to what you hear. Like copper is dark, so you're getting darker sound, silver is shiny and white, so you're getting bright sound. Because in many cases I see really opposite effects, and moreover, in many cases one cable can give you a different effect with different earphones. I said that before in many reviews, and actually here I have another good example. So with 109 Pro, it gives a really noticeable, not huge, so don't expect once again night and day difference. It in general, like in absolute, it's a small difference, but compared to regular cables, difference effect is noticeable, and it gives much better treble layering. So to my ears, actually, it brings the treble layering of this model. Maybe not to the top of the line level, but to the $1,000+ level. It improves layering, it improves that really high overtones saturation, and it gives you more air, and it makes sound more spacious, and making it more airy with bigger effect of immersion. But with Meze Lirik, actually it makes mids a bit more weighty, and adding some more weight that is good, for example, for the male vocal, for the male for the weight distribution for the instruments. It makes it better for the like acoustic performance with some chamber music or something like that. But you can see that effect maybe not totally opposite, but really different for different earphones. I'd really like to try Meze silver-plated cable, to try it with Lirik and with this model, because cables makes difference not because of material, but because of change in electric parameters like impedance, like capacity, and so on. So that's the main difference, not because of like silver or copper. And there are some explanations. Some try to explain this with skin effect, but actually skin effect is not a problem on the acoustic frequencies, so it's not really good explanation here. But cables makes difference, but you know, it's always hard to recommend anything, because any single cable need to be tested with every single earphones. And sometimes, of course, one cable can make same effect on different models, but opposite situations are also pretty common. But I really like effect of this cable with these headphones. It's also pretty good with Lirik, but not as dramatic. But also it gives you it gives you much more comfort and usability too. So here, in my opinion, this cable could be an option if you really like these headphones and want to squish more of them. And for Lirik, it's just a really good option, so you're getting better ergonomics, but for now you're getting it with the purchase, which is also really excellent offer. So thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, write your disagreement with me in the comments, let's discuss it, and have a nice day.